This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. It's summertime and there's lots of great fruits and vegetables available. Welcome to the Farmers Market Gourmet. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for couscous. And one of the things I love about this dish is that it's super easy to put together and it can be served hot or at room temperature or cold as a salad, and you can use all kinds of great vegetables from the farmer's market. Now, couscous is made from semolina flour like pasta, but it's very tiny, only about the size of a half a grain of rice. Now, you're not going to believe how easy this is to cook. We take 2 1/4 cups of chicken stock in a saucepan, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of butter, and we bring that to a boil. And once the stock is boiling, we put in 1.5 cups of couscous. We pull it off the heat, give it a stir, put a lid on, and let it sit. Now, couscous is a blank slate, so you can use anything to put in it. And so here are some of the things I found at the farmer's market today. Now, you can use any kind of vegetables in couscous, but there's kind of a formula I like to use, and one of them is to always use some spring onions. They have such a nice fresh flavor, and when you go to the farmer's market, have a look, because sometimes they not only have great bunches of white, but also red spring onions, and those are fun to use. So always try to get a couple of spring onions for your couscous. It gives that great fresh crunch. And give them a dice up. I like to use both the white and the green part in my couscous because it not only gives you that sweet onion flavor, but the great green color as well. So with couscous, I'm always looking for color and texture to add to the couscous grain. So usually tomatoes, you can get those, especially in the summertime. So I'm going to take 1 large tomato, dice that up, and set that aside with my onions. And then I always like to have an herb, and you could use chives or thyme. Today I had some basil out in the garden, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a rough chop. And then while I was at the farmer's market, a lot of the squash is starting to come into season. So what I found was I could have gone with a zucchini, but I already had the green of the basil and the spring onions. So I decided to go with a yellow crookneck squash. Now, because I'm not actually cooking any of these vegetables, I do want the squash to be cut up into, medium-sized chunks, not too big. They will kind of warm with the couscous, but not exactly cook through. And 1 wasn't quite enough, so I went with 2. Again, just chopping those up and set that aside with the rest of my veggies. So you can imagine, you go to the farmer's market, you could use peppers, you could use really anything that's in season. And then I do like to add some cheese. Now I'm adding some shaved Parmesan cheese, but you could use feta or anything else you like. And then you just take all of this and you dump it into the pot with the couscous. Then you just give it a little stir and get that hot couscous and those veggies all mixed up together. And then I just put a lid on it and let it sit until I'm ready to serve. And so when you do serve it, everything is nicely warmed through, the cheese is melted, and it's such a great dish for any kind of fresh veggies you find at the farmer's market. So think about picking up a box of couscous for your pantry. That way, whatever's in season down at the farmer's market, you can add those veggies and make something really delicious and healthy to eat. If you want the recipe, go to our website, and as always, any questions or ideas, send me an email. I'll see you next time.